Welcome to this mindfulness practice, where we will explore seeing conflict from a new perspective. If you're new to the channel, I'm Sandra Vesterstein. I'm a neuro-linguistic hypnotherapy coach and the founder of Thrivelogy of Living. I'm passionate about helping people transform their lives by aligning their mind, body, and spirit for greater fulfillment and purpose. Conflict is something we all have to deal with, whether it's in relationships, at work, within ourselves. It can be tempting to point fingers or get stuck in frustration. But with mindfulness, we can step back and see things more clearly, and even discover something valuable in the process. In this exercise, we'll work through a current conflict of yours using mindfulness to shift your perspective, release the need for blame, and focus on your learning. So go ahead and grab a journal and pen before we start. This will allow you to have the space to reflect and capture insights as we move through the exercise. Before we begin, take a moment to reflect on a conflict you're currently experiencing. It could be a disagreement with someone, or perhaps you're struggling with a situation at work or within yourself. As you settle into the conflict, bring it gently to your mind. You won't be diving into the emotions just yet. First, let's observe it for distance. Now go ahead and close your eyes and take a deep breath in, and exhale slowly. And in your journal, write down a brief description of the conflict. Who's involved? What's the core issue? Let go of having to write it down perfectly. Just jot down the key points. This journaling step allows you to clarify what the conflict is and helps you get out of your head and onto the page where it can feel more manageable. I will pause to give you time to journal. And if you need more time, just pause the recording. Now that we've explored the conflict and you've named it, let's take a mindfulness pause. When we're caught up in conflict, emotions can cloud our thinking and drive us to react impulsively. This step will calm your mind and body so you can approach the situation with more clarity. So if you're not already sitting down, go ahead and find a comfortable place to sit and close your eyes. Inhale deeply through your nose and exhale slowly through your mouth. And as you breathe, imagine any tension from the conflict flowing out of your body each exhale. Feel your body grounded to the surface that you're sitting on, and notice the sensation of the weight of your body pressing down. Write down in your journal how your body feels now. Check in, is there any tension or tightness? Do you notice any release as you breathe? This moment of grounding brings you into the present, where you can respond thoughtfully rather than react emotionally. Conflict stirs up emotions and often we get stuck blaming someone else or even ourselves. Mindfulness invites us to feel the emotions fully without attaching them to blame. And now, with your conflict still in mind, what emotions are coming up for you right now? Write them down in your journal. And now, with your conflict still in mind, ask yourself, what emotions are coming up for me right now? You might be noticing anger, frustration, sadness, even confusion. Write them down in your journal. And as you name each emotion in your journal, be mindful to let go of the need to attach it to blame. Instead of writing, I'm angry because they said this, simply write, I feel angry. Or you might find you have multiple emotions at play. Acknowledge each and every one of them. By naming your feelings without placing blame, you create a space to explore the conflict with a clearer perspective. Reflect in your journal. How does it feel to observe my emotions, letting go of judgment and blame? Do they seem less overwhelming? Now let's step back and view the conflict from a different angle. Rather than focusing on it, who's at fault, let's explore what we can learn from it. This shift in perspective can be incredibly powerful. And in your journal, ask yourself, what might this conflict be teaching me? Write down any lessons that come to mind. Maybe it's about patience, presence, setting boundaries, learning to communicate more clearly. Or maybe it's to become a better listener. Now consider the other people involved in the conflict. Write down how you think they might be feeling. What might be driving their behavior? Remember, this is an exercise in understanding, not justification. Now reflect on the situation as a whole. And as you do, silently repeat to yourself, I release the need to blame myself. I release the need to blame others. I am open to seeing the situation clearly. I am open to learning from this experience. Notice how this shift in perspective feels. Does it help you look at conflict as an opportunity to learn, rather than something you have to fix or blame others for? With a clearer perspective, let's think about how you can respond in a more mindful and resourceful way. Often our reactions are quick and driven by emotions, but now you have a chance to thoughtfully choose your next step. In your journal, ask yourself, what is a constructive way I can move forward in this situation? Could it be having an honest conversation, setting boundaries, or maybe it's simply letting go of trying to control the outcome? Just allow yourself to imagine responding from a place of calm and clarity. Write down what you would say or do in this new, more mindful approach. How does it differ from how you've reacted in the past? By writing down these new responses, you're setting an intention to approach conflict differently. Reflect on how this mindfulness approach compares to your initial reaction. Now let's take a moment to release any lingering tension or need to control the outcome of this conflict. Mindfulness teaches us that we don't need to have all the answers right away. And sometimes the best approach is simply being open to what the conflict can teach us. Reflect on what you've learned about yourself in the situation. And write down in your journal what conflict has taught you so far. And silently say to yourself as you write, I release the need to be right, and I'm open for growth. Allow yourself to feel a sense of lightness as you release the need to control or fix the conflict immediately. Trust by responding mindfully, you're taking the best next step. And finally, write down how you feel about this conflict now compared to when you started the exercise. What has shifted for you? Remember, even small shifts in perspective can make a big difference. Conflict is an inevitable part of life. How we approach it can change everything. Using mindfulness can allow us to step back from blame, explore new perspectives, and discover ways to respond that are more aligned with who we truly want to be. And the more you practice this, the more you can turn conflict into an opportunity for growth and learning, both for ourselves and others in our relationships. Next time you feel stuck in conflict, come back to this journaling exercise and notice how it transforms your experience. As always, with love and blessings, as above, so below, as within, so without. So it is, so be it.